So today we are going to be doing learning target 2 and learning target 3. We're going to solve a linear equation and we're going to justify each step in solving our linear equation. Okay, so step 1, eliminate parentheses, or we're using our distributive property. So whenever you have an equation and there are parentheses, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to distribute. If there's no parentheses, you move on to step 2. So if this is our example, 3 times parentheses x plus 4, the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 3 times x, and then we're going to do my 3 times 4 plus my 3 times 4. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to get 3x plus 12. That's my first problem, my first thing. That's step 1. Step 2. Add like terms on both sides. When we say both sides, we mean of the equation, of the equal sign. So here's the equal sign. Here's one side. Here's the other side. So we're going to add like terms. So over here are like terms. We have a 2x and a 3x. These are like terms from last time because they both have an x to the first power. So we combine them by doing 2x plus 3x and we get 5x. There is no other constant on this side, so we just leave it as plus 4. We still have our equal sign. There's nothing over here with the 20, so we leave it as 20. So step 2 is we add. We can change this to add to combine though, right? We can combine like terms. Because sometimes there's a negative, so we have to subtract. It's not always going to be adding. It's combining like terms. All right. Step 3, make sure the variable is only on one side. When we say one side, we always mean of the equal sign. So there's variables on both sides here. We have an x over on this side, and we have an x over on this side. We want an x only on one side. So to do this, we want to move one. Normally, we move the smaller number. So normally, we move the 2x by subtracting a 2x. Since we subtracted it on this side, we also have to subtract it on this side. We learned that from our subtraction property of equality. So when we do this, 2x minus 2x is going to give me 0x, and 0x is the same thing as 0. Over here, I'm now combining my like terms. I have a 6x minus 2x, which is going to give me 4x. I still have plus 4. You could have done it this way. So we have 6x plus 4 equals 2x. You could have moved the 6x by subtracting it to both sides. 6x minus 6x gives me 0x. So I'm left with a negative 14 on this side, or a positive 4. I can't even read my own handwriting. A plus 4. On this side, I now have 2x minus 6x. That's very different than 6x minus 2x. These are different because where the negative is. This is not what we're doing. This is the same as 2 minus 6. So 2x minus 6x is a negative 4x. Oh, it won't let me put an x here. Negative 4x. So we make sure our variable is only on one side. Step 4, eliminate the constant term. So this will be the opposite of either addition or subtraction. So our constant is just our number without any letters. So we have a constant over here. To eliminate it, we want to get it rid on the side where there's no variable. The variable is on this side. I don't want it on this side anymore. So to get rid of my 7, since there's a plus here, we do the opposite. That's subtract. We have to do it to both sides. 7 minus 7 is 0. This is going to cancel out. I'm left on this side with 3x. I still have my equal sign. 19 minus 7 is 12. Step 5, eliminate the coefficient of x. The coefficient is the number that's attached to your variable. So the coefficient here is 3. If I had this, my coefficient here is a negative 2. So this is going to be the opposite of multiplication or division. When my 3 is touching my x, that means multiplication. So we do the opposite of multiplication. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by that number. Divide both sides by that number. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and which gives us 1x. And 1x is the same thing as just x. So down here, I'm going to know that and just write x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. On the other hand, if this was a division problem, just say we had, this was the problem, x divided by 7 equals 4. Since this is division, we do the opposite and we times. These are going to cancel out because it's going to be 7 divided by 7, which is 1x, which is 1. 4 times 7, I'm going to get x equals 28. So there's both ways. Okay, so now we're going to talk about justification. So here's our problem. 5x minus 6 equals negative 6x plus 16. So step 1, there's no parentheses. We can move on. Step 2, combine like terms. So we look over here on this side. 5x and a negative 6, they aren't like terms, we leave it. Negative 6x plus 16, they aren't like terms on this side, we leave it. So now we move on to step number 3. We want all the x's on one side and all of our constants on the other. So I'm going to move my x terms first. I want all the same terms on one side. So I can either move my 5x or I can move my negative 6x. Negative 6 is smaller than 5, so I'm going to move my negative 6. To move my negative 6x, I'm going to do the opposite of a negative, which is a positive. Plus 6x on this side. Plus 6x on this side. Oop, where's that? There we go. First, I'm going to solve this, and we'll write our justification. Negative 6x plus 6x, that's going to give me 0. On this side, I'm left with a 16. And my equals. 5x plus 6x gives me 11x. I still have my minus 6. For this step, we are adding on both sides, so this was the addition property of equality. Addition property of equality from our notes from last night. Okay, so now I'm here. I want to see if I can combine like terms. I can. So now I want to eliminate a constant. So to eliminate my constant, here's my constant. My x is by itself. So I want to get rid of this 6 and I want to put it on this side. So to move this negative 6, I want to add 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is going to give me 0. I'm left on this side with 11x. 16 plus 6 is 22. This is also going to be the addition property of equality. If you wanted a step for this term, this is combining like terms. My handwriting is really bad on this. Terms. Oh, the T should be here. Okay, so now I have 11x equals 22. I want to eliminate my coefficient. My coefficient in this case is 11. My 11 is being multiplied by my x because they're touching. So to undo multiplication, we divide. Divide both sides by 11. 11 divided by 11 is going to give me 1. 1x is the same as x. 22 divided by 11 is 2. So I find my answer of x equals 2. This right here is the division property of equality. There we go, and that's how we justify this. Next one. Again, we're going to have justification in this one. 4x minus 8 times parentheses x plus 1 equals 8. So the first one we're doing, we have parentheses, so we do the distributive property. So I get 4x, negative 8 times x is a negative 8x. Now I have negative 8 times 1. Negative 8 times 1 is a negative 8. You also can write a plus a negative 8 if you want. We still have our equals and then our 8. So my justification for this step was the distributive property. You don't feel like writing out distributive. Okay, Step 2, we're going to combine like terms on the sides. So over here we have a 4x, we have a minus 8x, and we have a negative 8. Our like terms are our 4x and our minus 8x. So now we have to combine a positive 4x and a negative 8x. This is not 8x minus 4x, this is 4 minus 8x. That's going to give me negative 4x. I still have my minus 8. A plus and negative is just negative. On this side, I'm only left with 8. So on this step right here, we were combining like terms. Okay, now we want to eliminate our constant. We want an x by itself. The x is on this side, so that means I want to get rid of this constant. To get rid of this constant, I want to put it over here. To move it to this side, I have to do the opposite of minus, which is plus. Add 8 to both sides. Negative 8 plus 8 is going to give me 0. On this side, I'm going to be left with negative 4x. 8 plus 8 is 16. So now I want to get rid of my coefficient. The coefficient here is oh, I need to write my step. One step problem. This is the addition property of equality. I want to get rid of my coefficient. My coefficient here is a negative 4x. It's being times, so I'd have to divide by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1. 1x is the same as x. 16 divided by a negative 4 is a negative 4. Okay, here are our special cases. So we're not going to write our justifications, we're just going to solve these out. So my first thing I'm going to do is my parentheses, so I distribute 2 times x, 2 times 4. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 4 is an 8. I still have minus 5. Now I want to combine like terms on both sides. So if we look over here, we have a 2x, an 8, and a 5. My 8 and 5 are constants, I can combine them. So 8 minus 5 is 3. On this side, I don't have any like terms, I leave it as 2x plus 3. If you can see right here, these are the same exact things on both sides. This says 2x plus 3 equals 2x plus 3. If it takes you a while, you can still solve this out, right? We would subtract 3 on both sides. And now we would have 2x equals 2x. Again, they're the same. Even if you take it a step further and divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1x is x. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1x is x. Whenever you have them equal the same thing, x equals x, 2x equals 2x, 2x plus 3 equals 2x plus 3, it's the same thing on both sides, our answer is going to be infinitely many solutions. So, infinite solutions. Infinite is a huge number. That means there's so many answers. X can be any number pretty much. So when they're equal to the same thing, it's infinite solutions. Our other special case, here we go. So we have no parentheses, so now we try and combine like terms. Over here we have a 4m and a 1m, right? When there's nothing in front of it, we assume it's a 1. So 4m minus m is 3m. We have no like terms on this side, I leave it. So now what I want to do is I want to get my numbers on one side and my letters on one side. So I can either subtract this 3m or subtract that 3m, it doesn't matter. I'm going to move this one. So I'm subtracting 3m from this side, I have to do it on this side. 3m minus 3m is 0, I'm left with a 1. 3m minus 3m is 0, I'm left with just my 9. So my answer right now is 1 equals 9, and this is not a true statement. So when you get something that is not true like this, that means there is no solution. When you get something that is not true, like maybe you have 5 equals 2, 0 equals 1, that's not a true solution, so you write no solutions. Come on, pen. Oop. Okay, so before class, what I want you to do is I want you to write an equation to have your partner solve. You have to, this is a little tricky because you have to make sure your answer has an actual whole number answer. So you don't want your answer to be like 4.63215. No. Your answer either has to be a whole number, infinite solutions, or no solutions. So make sure that you have an equation that works. Make sure you solve it before you bring it in, but just bring in that equation for class tomorrow.